How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. So, of course, I had to talk about this hilarious protest. I believe Does It Play was the one that started this. I could be wrong. I couldn't be bothered to even look into this because it was just too stupid for me to care. But before anybody even gets pissed off and is like, "Oh my God, fuck this guy. He's defending Sony." No, 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 no. Hear me out, okay? So there's this protest. For those that somehow don't know, there's this big protest going online being proposed right now where so basically the whole thing is like don't sign in to PlayStation Network in some random week of August of all months. Thinking that I don't know how they played mental gymnastics this hard in their head to think that by not signing in, but like 5% of the player base not signing in to PlayStation Network in some random week in August is really gonna move the needle, guys. Um, you guys are delusional if you think that this is gonna make a difference. All right, look, for the people who are actually upset about this situation, like I understand the frustration because it's like you guys are console gamers exclusively, and you guys can't come to terms with the fact that consoles are just fucking dead at this point. All right, there's no fucking exclusives. They cost damn near almost as much as a gaming PC, and they're now taking away the last selling point basically of even having a console in the first place, which is physical media. And so I understand the frustration there. I get it. Look, I'm primarily a console gamer. For many years I was a console gamer. All right, so I understand the frustration. But you guys need to stop with your delusions and stop with the mental gymnastics thinking that, well, Nintendo's going to save us, guys. We're just going to move to Nintendo. Yeah, because they're definitely caring about the physical media side of things, right? And they're totally not a publicly traded company just like Sony, right? They would never fuck us over. Right. Sure, keep telling yourselves that. Look, I understand the frustration, but you guys need to get to grips with reality. Consoles are fucking dead. There's no point in owning a console over a PC at this point. Like, none. All right? And, this is how publicly traded companies are. The numbers have to keep going up. And guess what? The reason that Sony's doing this is because PlayStation is not growing. Okay? They haven't even sold 100 million units for the PS5. All right, they've sold less units than the PS2. The PS2 was the peak, okay? But the number has to keep going up somehow. All right, are you following me so far? Like, I understand that like most people are just ignorant and they don't understand the economics behind this stuff, but I'm doing my best to explain this. So the number has to keep going up because it is a publicly traded company. PlayStation is not growing as a business, okay? They are stagnant. That is a fact. All right? They're not really declining, but they're not growing either. So the number has to keep going up. So they're saying, how are we going to get the number to keep going up? I know. We're going to put ads in the fucking dashboard of the PS5 because that's going to be a thing. My God, did I pick a good time to get the fuck off PlayStation. Fuck not signing in for a week. I may not even sign in ever again to PlayStation because all of my games are already saved on an 8 terabyte drive, okay? But this is how things are with publicly traded companies. We are most definitely in the era of enshittification, all right? They look at you as the pay pigs at this point. You guys have to keep our business afloat, all right? We don't care about the customer satisfaction levels. If you guys aren't happy with it, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Right? Well, and I know people out there, you got a lot of people out there being like, well, I got to make an exception for Grand Theft Auto 6, or, well, I have to make an exception for Wolverine. If you guys are serious about this little protest you guys got going on, fuck not signing in for a week. Don't sign into PlayStation Network ever again. Is it going to change anything? Probably not, because the majority of gamers are casuals, and they've only got the PS5, right? So they're just gonna stay where they're at, and they're just gonna keep, being beholden to Sony. They're gonna be the ones that get bent over and fucked right up the ass, okay? But if you guys don't want to get fucked right up the ass, you guys need to put your money where your mouth is. Go back to retro, get a cheap PC, emulate these old games. I mean, this game right here, Metroid Prime 2, this is running on an Xbox Series S, okay? It's emulating the game. So, like, it's not hard to do, all right? You guys got to either do what I do and, you know, do what I did, get yourself a high-end gaming PC, you know, just start buying your games on Steam instead. You know, accept the fact that physical media is on its way out, because it absolutely is. All right. It's just a fact. No amount of crying on Twitter is going to change the fact that Sony wants to save 50 cents on manufacturing costs. Okay. And that's the reason Xbox is doing all these layoffs, pissing off their game developers, because they're trying to save money wherever they can. You know, the number has to keep going up. Xbox is doing very bad right now. In case you can't tell, they're not growing at all either. In fact, they're way behind where their peak was with the Xbox 360. Okay? It's not growing for them. This is not working out for them. The console economics are no longer viable. All right? So it is a failing business. That is a fact. It is a failing business because it's not growing anymore. And the way publicly traded companies are, it has to grow infinitely. All right? Obviously, that's not possible, but that's how they operate. And this is why they're doing whatever they can to get whatever they can. And if you guys don't want to have to be their pay pigs, you guys got to put your money where your mouth is and get the fuck off PlayStation. Fuck not signing in for a week. That is the dumbest fucking shit ever. Even if you got 90% of the player base to not sign in for a week, it doesn't even matter, because you're all going to be back in time for Grand Theft Auto 6. And the reason I know that is because you look at the pre-order sales numbers of Grand Theft Auto 6, I'm hearing it's well in the millions already. Like, they're selling like hotcakes. The pre-orders, this game's not even out yet. It comes out in November, and you got people lining up in droves to get the $100 version of that digital-only game. Okay? You guys got to stop, man. Stop with the mental gymnastics. Stop thinking that Nintendo gives a fuck with their fucking keycard bullshit. All right? They don't give a fuck about you. Microsoft doesn't give a fuck about you. Sony doesn't give a fuck about you. No amount of your crying on Twitter or crying on YouTube is going to change the fact they are a publicly traded company and they are doing whatever the fuck they can to please their fucking shareholders. Okay? Put your money where your mouth is. Do what I did. Get yourself a high-end gaming PC. You know, get a cheap PC. Emulate all the old shit. Or just stay where you're at and get bent over and fucked up the ass. Don't know what else to tell you. That's the facts of the situation. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.